Laura Trump coming to you from my home in New York. Being Joe Biden is not easy these days because the more Americans get to see of him, the more they know he is not fit to be President of the United States. Joining me is the Chief Creative Officer for Turning Point USA and a new dad to Eloise, Benny Johnson. Benny, welcome and congratulations.
Thank you so very much. Nothing more inspiring to protect the future of this country than to have yourself a beautiful little baby girl. And my wife and I welcomed our first on Monday. And so I am a very proud, patriotic dad, and little Eloise already loves the flag. Here's baby Eloise.
There she is, the newest Trump supporter. Oh my gosh, she's beautiful. And
Little
the great
patriot.
news is we know that she's going to be raised right. So that is the best news of all. Congratulations to you.
Yeah.
She's absolutely perfect. A very positive moment in a year filled with chaos, but you get to tell her, look, she came into the world and all of this, and the great news will be when you tell her that Donald Trump won the election in 2020. So we will get there. But I want to talk about you because you create a lot of viral content that reveals both the radicalism of Joe Biden and the strength and fortitude of President Trump. So what's the secret behind your success?
Well, first off, it would be going 3 straight days without sleep, which is what I'm doing right now. Very important for the creative process. Just never go to bed. Make sure that you are woken up every couple of hours. I know you know this, Laura. You know the joys of being a new parent.
I do.
But we're gonna tighten it up for this question. It's really important to remember that the currency of the internet is authenticity. Authenticity is the way that people relate with other human beings and the way that content flies online. This president is the last word in authenticity. He speaks his mind, he speaks truth, and he talks to the American people the way they want to be spoken to, as though they are adults. Joe Biden, on the contrary, has yet to put together 3 complete sentences for the American people, and can barely do so when he's reading them off a teleprompter. And the way we knew that Joe Biden's Twitter was hacked yesterday was that he started speaking in complete sentences. And so that was actually the #1 way we could determine that Joe Biden was victim of that hack. So it is really, though, very important when you're creating viral content to relate with your audience. And young people do know when you're being authentic. And that's why President Donald Trump is a meme machine on the internet.
That's true. Well, speaking of the fact that Joe Biden can't speak, one of your viral videos is titled, "What if Normal People Talked Like Joe Biden?" I want everybody to watch this.
Hey, Benny, do you think I should get my master's degree?
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Benny, I just don't understand why you like Starbucks more than Dunkin' Donuts.
Cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent.
Okay, so from the mouth of Joe Biden there, Benny, do you think voters realize that Joe Biden is not up to the task of being president, especially compared to President Trump?
So, Laura, I have done digital media and sketches and comedy sketches online for over 15 years. The hardest job I have ever had, ever, online, is memorizing Joe Biden lines, like in the clip you just saw. Having to actually say these garbled up, nonsensical lines and memorize them for a script, which, by the way, that video got over 10 million views, just to show that, conservatives do love their comedy. And also that I think that my 3-day-old daughter can probably put together a better sentence than Joe Biden right now, based on what I have experienced over the last 3 days. I will say that it is shocking that you have a candidate running who is able to get away with such things. If you watch the full clip, and you can find it on all of my social media, Benny Johnson on all platforms, you'll see that what millions and millions of other people saw, which is that if you take Joe Biden if you take him and put him in any normal world context, he is one of the most offensive, nonsensical, not really there human beings that you could ever see. Poor kids are just as bright as white kids. Could you imagine if the president tweeted that?
Oh
Or if
my
the president of
God.
the United States said that in a statement or in the Rose Garden, it would be bedlam. It would be the end of the world. But Joe Biden can get away with it, I guess, because he's just given a pass by what used to be called the media, which is now the PR apparatchiks of the DNC.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. If Donald Trump said anything close to a multitude, I mean, there's so many of these things, Benny, that Joe Biden has said out there. If Donald Trump said one of them, he would never live it down. They would be on top of him 24/7, camped outside of the White House, ready for him to come out so they could accost him. Joe Biden, nobody cares. He said, if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. I mean, some of these things are crazy, but you're right. He gets a pass from the mainstream media. So that is why it is up to people like us to make sure Americans are aware of just how scary Joe Biden really is. Don't you think Joe Biden's radical extremism truly represents a great threat to everything America actually stands for?
Yeah, Laura, actually, in that clip, it's really telling when he tries to recite a line from the Declaration of Independence that all men are created equal, right? Endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights. Among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is such a important line. If you are an American, it truly is Americanism defined in a sentence, right? And so when Joe Biden comes to say that line and he says, you know the thing. The thing is being an American and understanding our founding principles and our founding documents. And how are you going to purport to leave a better America for your children, Laura, for my children, if you can't understand or remember our founding documents? And what this really underlies is the extreme radicalism that Joe Biden represents. If you look through his staff and the people who are leading his campaigns, former Bernie people, absolute avowed socialists, people who have embraced Marxism, people who have donated to get Marxist Antifa out of jail when they riot and go after minority-owned businesses. This is the most radical candidate we have ever seen in American history, and they are using crazy old Joe as a patina, a Trojan horse, to get their ideas into the White House. And it's terrifying, certainly terrifying for any American, but for people who are parents, for people who believe in America and want to leave this country a better place, as you do, I know. I see your adorable children on social media. Love that Instagram. And as I do, for little Eloise, it's so important to understand that our politicians and the people we elect protect these things for us and for those future generations. Joe Biden can't even remember the most important lines of our founding documents.
It's a great point, by the way. And it's why on November 3rd, everyone has to get out. They have to vote with their mind, with their heart, with their gut, because people know the only person that can keep America, America, that can lead us back to economic success in this country. He did it once, he'll do it again. President Donald Trump, if God forbid, Joe Biden, the Trojan horse that you're right, he is for the radical Marxist Socialist Democrat Party, got elected president, we would never see the same country exist on the face of the earth again. America would be over. So it is so, so important. Again, Benny, congratulations to you for your beautiful little Eloise. Next time she can come on the show with you. We welcome it. And thank you as always for everything you do and for being with us today.
Hey, let's keep America great. This country is worth fighting for. Remember that. Keep fighting. We have a country to save.
Got that right. The more we know about Joe Biden, the more we can count on 4 more years of Donald Trump. That's the real news for today. If you'd like to get involved with Team Trump, go to donaldjtrump.com or download the official Trump 2020 app from the App Store or the Google Play Store. I'm Laura Trump, coming to you from my home in New York. Thanks for joining us, everybody.